Davis. I work for Sunrise Recreation and Park District. Um, Good evening. I really appreciate you all taking the time to be here. Obviously, ready to roll for another excellent year of Junior Giants. Obviously, if it's your first year here, we're happy to have you. I know our commissioner and our ambassadors here will be able to answer some questions for you all and provide you with some information regarding the league. But just want to give a quick shout out, obviously, to the wonderful team that really makes it happen here. Starting with our ambassadors, we have Nate, Sebastian, and Kristen. So again, just wonderful people. They do an amazing job. If you've been in this league before, again, you know how active they are. Um, and then the main man, again, I know he's not one for flowers, but he really does it all. He's been doing it for for the past 5 years and really does an excellent job. Our commissioner Gary Overson, again, just does a one of a kind job, and just really happy to have him. Really makes this thing tick and puts in all the time and effort that that makes it happen. Um, Other than that, my one thing I briefly want to touch on before I let Gary go ahead and take the reins on this is a program like this, which is free for everyone. It's not possible without volunteer coaches. Obviously, I know the staff that we've had that that do volunteer coach for us do a great job. But I do implore any of you guys, if you are thinking about it, if you're unsure, you're kind of on the fence, I would implore you guys to obviously go and take that leap and come help out with this program. Again, it doesn't run without you guys, and we're really appreciative of everyone that puts in the time and effort, and it gives you a unique opportunity to be a part of your kids' lives
Take her outside and come to the side right here.
in that coaching capacity. But again, if you have any questions about that, or if you put some time into it and you think that you want to be a coach, you obviously reach out to myself. You can reach out to Gary or any of our ambassadors as well, and we'll help put you guys in the right direction there. And the link will also be available in this stream. So without any further ado, though, I'm going to hand this off to Gary. Again, really appreciate everyone being here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Davis, and thanks everyone for being here. Um, so, first of all, I wanted to thank our Sunrise Recreation and Parks for being the host of our league. It really makes a big difference as far as having the synergy that we have with our host agency. There's other leagues out there that have a more of a difficult time of having their fields ready and having the kind of the relationship that the Junior Giants as well as their host agency has with each other. So it's really really remarkable and a huge positive for us to have that like I said, that synergy between our two parts. So thanks to Davis and thanks to Jake for putting their best foot forward, and obviously Nate is an ambassador as well as somebody who's important in Sunrise Parks as well, and he's one of our main people with the program that makes it tick. So as Davis mentioned, our three ambassadors are Nate Cooper, Kristen Overson, as well as our new member this year, Sebastian Martinez. We will get a little bit of an introduction to theirs after we get started here when we get to that slide. But I'm going to go ahead and share my my screen with you, and we'll go through some of the slides. And at the very end, we'll have a quick Q&A for anybody who has any questions. And if you have anything else that you don't want to, you can put it in the chat, obviously, or save it for an email afterwards. And then we'll go ahead and answer your question that way. So let me go ahead and get this going here. All right. So thank you again all for registering for the 2026 season, and thank you for those returning this year. Our program is designed, the goal for the program is to learn the basics of actually this meeting, is to learn the basics of this program, understand what is needed from you as a parent or guardian, as well as volunteer, obviously, a coach or team parent. And then also to learn where to find information during the season, any questions you might have. That's the goal of this meeting. As I said before, The league is hosted by Sunrise Recreation and Park District, and it's a program of the Giants Community Fund, which is a nonprofit entity of the Giants, which if you ever go to a San Francisco Giants game, the 50-50 raffles, that is part of the funding for the Junior Giants program. So it's important to understand kind of where the funding comes from, as well as understanding that as a nonprofit, there's going to be some things that we have to do to obviously make the nonprofit continue and to grow and to be justifiable, which surveys at the end of the season are one of those things that keeps the nonprofit a viable source and keeps it going on the Giants Community Fund end. So what is the Junior Giants? The Junior Giants is a free program. There are no fees. There's no fundraising that goes on. Everything that you get is provided. You don't have to purchase anything to play. There's no need for cleats, but if you want to buy cleats, you can get cleats. We are going to have, we do have an allotment of donated cleats that actually came in at the end of last season for smaller shoe sizes. And we'll be bringing those out to the first week of practices, and they'll just be distributed, first come, first serve. That's just kind of like a bonus thing that was just given to us as a donation on the side. So that's not something that's normal. But basically, there's not going to be any keeping score. I understand that some kids might be out there saying, well, it's 4-1 or 4-2, whatever. I'm not saying that you guys can't keep track in your head, but it's just not something that you want to verbalize too much, because people could get down, when they're quote unquote losing. And that's not kind of what this is for. This is to get people either interested in baseball for the first time or reintroduced into baseball because they had a terrible experience before. Maybe they didn't have a good experience playing baseball before. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is make sure that everybody has a good experience. So that's why we're keeping it non-competitive. There will be one semi-competitive division that I coach, and that's for the older kids. And that's something that the younger kids will obviously be able to graduate to at some point. But for the time being, we won't be doing any score. Also, everyone can play together. So it's for anybody, girls and boys. They could play either baseball or softball. Softball is encouraged for girls, but boys could also play on those teams as well. It's not something that we deny. There's also character development as a major part of the Junior Giants program. There'll be words of the week every week that'll focus on health, education, and bullying prevention. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into all of these programs in addition to the baseball part of the program. Here's our code of ethics for the season. You're going to cheer. You don't have to, but sit on your hands for the other team. No booing, obviously. But for your team, obviously, we're going to cheer. We're going to give them as much encouragement as possible. And it's great if you can, give both teams your applause. There's not going to be any inappropriate language, jokes, and refrain from any repeating stereotypes or voicing prejudiced thoughts. No demeaning coaches, players, etc. And no tobacco use, cannabis, or alcohol at the fields. There's not going to be any yelling at umpires due to the fact that we don't have any. That's one of the bonuses of this type of league is that there's no anger towards the middleman, which is the ref or coach or umpire. So if you enjoy, yelling at an umpire, this isn't going to be the place for you. It's balls and strikes are not called. It's certain amount of pitches before they get to hit, before they either get the tee out or in the upper leagues we may have a certain, because we have a pitching machine for the seniors and the semi-comp. So obviously it's going in the same place over and over and over. So we usually get the tee out for them as well, but different division, but the tee is usually used, and we'll get to that part when we get to the functionality of the games. So again, embrace the Junior Giants philosophy. We're not keeping score. please ask how you can help the program rather than having complaints. And there's going to be a season roadmap at the beginning that's going to be handed out to everyone. And your child should participate in everything that's on there so that they can get everything out of the program. Okay. So this year we're going to be having a little bit more in the mental health side of things. There's going to be a text line that Junior Giants provides for free. It's confidential and it's support for your child if they ever need help. There's trained counselors. They're available 24/7, and that is the MLB to 741-741 to reach a volunteer or crisis counselor. They're incorporated into our practice plans and some of our printed materials to help start important conversations. I do want to stress that this is a very important thing because something happened a couple of years ago, and I don't want to scare anybody, but there was a person a child who won the Willie Mack Award, and in the time that it took from winning the Willie Mack Award to going to the Willie Mack Award ceremony, this is somebody who really, really, really enjoyed themselves during the season, the 8 weeks, and they showed something to the commissioner of that league enough to win the Willie Mack Award, and they didn't make it to the ceremony. They took their life, which is why this is a huge deal. We're not going to play around with the mental health thing anymore. We're going to try to give as much support as we possibly can. So that's one of the main reasons why this is such a big deal, and I understand why. This year also we're partnering with the Kevin Love Foundation, the Kevin Love Fund, which is also another mental health resource. Kevin Love is a basketball player. He's in the NBA. He suffered an anxiety attack, a panic attack on the basketball court during one of the games and had to go to the back. And it was just a really big eye opener for him as a professional athlete to not be able to control himself. And so there's a lot of online training available for coaches for that. And there'll be some lessons for the majors teams because that's kind of the target age that they're targeting for the mental health side of things. And then there's obviously virtual mental health panels for adults, coaches, and older players that will happen also during the season. Okay, here's our legal logistics. I just want to stress that we are at our peak as far as the amount of players we have in the league. We last year we had 868 registrations. The year before we had 896, and the year before that we had 738, and the year before that we had 420. 868 registrations. We are already at 820, and we still have 2 weeks left. And this was throughout the whole season. We were still accepting registrations until the last week of the season last year, and we ended with 868. And we already are at 820 right now, and we haven't even started the season yet. So we are in a great position. If you want to look at, obviously the teams are going to be full, but we are also at our peak as far as the amount of space we have for practices on Monday or on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have 3 time slots, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 8, and we have 60 teams, and we have 60 slots. Or we actually have. We'll talk about Special Olympics in a second because that's going to have their own specific thing. So, but I just want to stress that first of all, we need volunteers 100%. We need everybody who's available to be able to volunteer if you can. And we also need to stress that if you don't plan on playing this year, if it's going to be a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing, and you're just kind of casual, your child is kind of casually signed up, probably not a good season to be signed up because we have more people that are coming on the back end who want to join us. So I'm not saying I want you to, but just rethink whether or not you want to come out because this is a really, really popular program right now. And about 800 of these kids are going to play the whole season. So we want to make sure that everybody who signs up actually has a great experience with all their teammates. So T-ball is 5 to 6 years old. Minors is 7 to 9. Majors is 10 to 13. Seniors is 14 to 18. And then we don't have a T-ball softball. We've decided against that because T-ball is about the same. So we just do T-ball baseball for 5 to 6. And then minor softball 7 to 9, major softball 10 to 13. And then senior softball is 14 to 18. We didn't put semi-comp on here. Semi-comp is also 14 to 18 with a few exceptions for anybody who's younger than that, who has played for several years. So let me know if you're in majors and you have a child in majors who wants to play semi-comp. However, I am requiring that all majors players play on their original teams as well as the semi-comp team. I want them to get both experiences. I want them to play with the semi-comp team if they're good enough to play for the semi-comp, but also I want them to be good side-by-side coaches with their majors teams that they should be playing with. So if you're majors and you want to play on semi-comp, you're going to have 2 practices and 2 games on Saturday. You're going to have 2 practices a week and 2 games on Saturday. So that's just how this league works. No other league has semi-comp. So I'm the only league that actually started that up. Okay, girls softball. Our softball divisions are geared towards girls, as I said, but remain for all youth. The ball used to play as a softball is bigger than a baseball, but not softer. It's just more dense, so it doesn't hurt as bad when you get hit with it. But it's just a bigger ball, and it has it's not softer than the ball. Now, I will say that all of the balls that we do play with have a slight compression to them. The T-ball ones are called compression ones, which have a lot more compression, and then the rest of them play with compression 5s, which is a slight compression. So they're not hard balls, but they're not really soft either. The Special Olympics division that started this year is dedicated division within Junior Giants that is intentionally designed to meet the needs of athletes with intellectual disabilities. This division emphasizes safety-first programming with appropriate structure and support, inclusive coaching focused on encouragement, skill development, and fun, a non-competitive, player-centered environment, and opportunities for athletes to build confidence, independence, and teamwork. These Special Olympics division, we have 2 teams starting this year. And both of them will be playing having their practices as well as their games on Friday evening. They're not going to have to come back on Saturdays. They're going to actually practice from 6 to 7 on Friday evening, and then have their game from 7 to 8 on Friday evening. That's the typical structure of a Special Olympics division. So that's how that one is going to work if you're part of the Special Olympics division. Here's our line of communication. So if you have a question as a Junior Giants parent and player, you're going to most of the time go to your coach, assistant coach, or your team parent. And then the team parent usually will, if it needs to go up a level, it'll go up to our ambassador team. And then if it has to go up another level, it'll go up to me as the commissioner of the program. Okay. These are the different things that you might ask and who you would ask. So you'd ask the coach or volunteer as a parent about equipment needs, uniform needs, like a hat, or maybe in incentives, things like that, any kind of things that are handed out. That's where you would ask your team parent or your coach. The ambassador handles anything having to do with the Junior Giants app. Registering to volunteer or any kind of program due dates, like when we get to the reading program, there'll be some due dates for that. And then you would come to me for any scheduling changes, the heat plan, or any kind of larger questions. Oops, I just pressed the end instead of the next. Here we go. Okay, here's our schedule. So each team will have 1 practice and 1 game per week. Practices this year are on from Tuesday to Friday. We are taking Mondays off due to scheduling for otherwise it'd be a split schedule for our ambassadors as well as some of our coaches who coach multiple teams. So if you coach on last year, if you coached on Monday, you might have another game practice on Friday and then your game on Saturday. Now you have Sunday, Monday off. every week. So we don't have to worry about any kind of practices on Monday and things like that. So the practices are between the hours of 5 and 8. So practices are 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 8. And they start the week of June 8th. So they'll start actually on June 9th, which is that Tuesday. The location is Madera Park, 8046 Wonder Street, over in Citrus Heights, over in the off of by Leatherby's. You make a left after you get off, go past Leatherby's off of Sunrise if you're going down Antelope. The parking, obviously, we're going to have a lot of players out there. So we have to make sure that if you can carpool, cool, that would be fantastic. There is going to be some, walking that's going to need to be done for the parking, because we just have a robust league, and there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to work around it and logistically understand that. So after week 1, week 2, we'll understand it even a little bit better. The way it's laid out, there are right now 3 cutout fields, and then there's actually a field out in center field of one of the fields, and then there's also a shaded area that we use for our t-ball exclusively, because it's in the shade and it's a good little area for them to not get overheated and to practice. So we have actually 5 locations at Madera Park that will be used every single hour for the 4 days, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So let's see here. Next is the games on Saturday. So Saturday games, they range from 8 in the morning until noon for most of the games. There is a few that we do have that will be going a little further, which is because of our seniors and our semi-comp teams need to be 12 to 1 and 1 to 2. So they will be later on in the day. 2 reasons. Number one, they're older and they can handle the heat a little bit better than the rest, as well as the other reason is I'm the coach of both, so they have to obviously be back to back. And then the last reason is I like to see actually some of the kids from the other teams and the younger teams stop by and watch some of the seniors and the semi-comp teams, and some people stay watch all of it because they're able to see some pretty decent talent out there, older kids play. So it's pretty cool. So okay. So our first games start on June 13th. That's that Saturday after our first week of practices. And the last game will be August 1st. That'll be the last Saturday of the season. There will be no games on the 4th of July. This year, 4th of July lands on a game day. And therefore the Junior Giants, as well as the Junior Giants don't want us having games on 4th of July. And also there's probably going to be some tournaments that are probably going to be going on the 4th of July on the fields that we would normally be playing at. So we're going to just go ahead and let everybody go do their family thing on the 4th of July. Okay. So, and then finally, the location of the games are at CBARC Park, 8275 Oak Avenue, also in Citrus Heights, down Oak. And on the left-hand side, there's a dog park out in the front. And parking, obviously, there also is going to be pretty robust with the amount of people that we have. So just be patient and don't, if you're not going to have if your game doesn't start and you don't have any other reason of being there, it's probably a good idea to just arrive, about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour before, because then one of the groups will be leaving around the same time and things like that. But logistically, we'll get that handled after a week or 2 of the program. Okay, next is the word of the week. These are the words of the week. So the following words will be incorporated into the season. First week will be health, strikeout bullying, education, confidence, teamwork, leadership, and integrity. I actually don't know if that's the order, but those are the words of the week that we'll have. Okay, this is what is provided by the Junior Giants program. All the children will receive a jersey, gray baseball or softball pants, a Giants hat, or visor. The visor is primarily for the females. And if your child does not have a glove or has outgrown theirs, you may request a glove. They are kind of not pulling back on the gloves, but it is being more constrained because in order to keep the program running, they have to make sure that, little things are adjusted as the seasons go along. And if there's more money that needs to be spent over here, then they'll pull from over here. So they want to make sure that gloves are not purchased, every year so that somebody could get a brand new glove every year. It's actually not a good idea to have a good new glove every year anyway. It's good to break in a glove and have it for a couple of years. I still have my glove from high school and I still use it. So, it's good to have a broken in glove and use that as long as you possibly can. Maybe giving the glove to, one of your younger siblings, or if you want a new glove from our program, and you've been in our program for, since last year or the year before, it would be really, really helpful if that glove that you had from last year made its way back to us. And then we could give that to a younger person with the smaller hand like you had the year before. So these are things that help out the program a lot. And we just really stress on that being one of the things is if you have a glove at home and you could use it, please use that glove. If not, again, if you have a glove at home and you don't want to use it anymore and you want to donate it, then perhaps that's a way to get yourself another glove as well. Okay, next is you are not required to buy any equipment to play with the Junior Giants. Cleats or other personal gear are not required. Here's the incentives that you'll be receiving throughout the 8 weeks. You'll be getting a water bottle first week. And then baseball cards and a binder sleeve each week, the baseball cards each week with the binder sleeve to put the baseball cards into. And each week it's a different player or character from the San Francisco Giants. And then at the end of the season, they are switching over to a Junior Giants medal this year instead of a bobblehead. So that'll be the incentive at the end of the season is the Junior Giants medal there. Okay. Now, the season roadmap that you receive at the beginning of the season, you're going to be using that to have the reading scorecard so that your child can either win a backpack and or in addition to the backpack, have the chance to go to the Junior Giants Festival. And I'll talk about that in a second. So the season roadmap guides the players and the families through the season. And you'll be able to rip off the reading scorecard so you can keep track of the and turn that in when it's time to turn that in. And this is what it looks like. So as you can see here, the reading scorecard on the right-hand side is if you read 720 minutes or 540 minutes for a T-baller, that will qualify that child for a backpack. Okay.
Oh,
Now, correct.
That's too hard. Again,
Now, in addition to the backpack, if
reading
you're
a
in,
scorecard. If you
if you're-
read,
It helps you go to baseball.
no, you're gonna get a free
please
backpack.
mute. Diana, can we mute that real quick? And then anybody in minors or higher, if you complete the whole 720 minutes by our goal time, you'll also qualify to go to the Junior Giants Festival, which is located at Oracle Park in San Francisco, where the Giants play. Everybody goes at once. We all go as not all together, obviously, but we all make it down there and all huddle up together before we go inside. We get anybody who is all the players obviously that have read 720 minutes by the deadline are qualify if their whole team qualifies. Not everybody who reads qualifies. Everybody who reads qualifies for the backpack, but everybody who reads on the whole team, the team has to all qualify. And then that whole team gets to go down to Oracle Park as a group and go into the ballpark and do some there's some activities like skee ball and hitting off a pitching machine and stuff like that, throwing speed pitch. And then you actually, after that, doing that for about 45 minutes, you actually get to go out onto the baseball field, and you get to hit wiffle balls in the outfield, and you get to run around the bases. You get to go into the dugout where the San Francisco Giants play. So it's a really, really awesome experience. But that only happens if an entire team reads 720 minutes from minors above. Okay. So I want that known. This year, I was a little, kind of the last couple of years, I've been a little, I don't know. I've been a little lenient, I guess you would say, with who gets to go. And this year we're going to make sure, because I've been told by Junior Giants that we got to make sure that everybody, that their entire teams that make it down there this year. In addition to the players, anybody who volunteers and is background checked comes back passed, you get to also go into Oracle Park with the team. And again, that's minors or above. Any of the T-ball, it's when you become a minors, when you get to minors, that's when you get to go to Oracle Park. So it's for there's a lot of T-ball kids out there, so they want to make sure it's limited. They would have to have like 2 or 3 days of festivals if they had all the T-ballers there. So they just want to limit it to what they have there. So so the reading around the bases basically is you could either read or be read to. That's fine. You just want to check off each box as you go until you get around the bases, and that's how you qualify. And you're going to turn that into our ambassador team when it's time to get that turned in. Okay. Okay. So here's what I was just talking about. If your entire team completes the read around the bases, minors or roller, be invited to the festival. And as I said, it's a chance to get onto the field. Let's see here. This is the deadline that Junior Giants puts out, but we have the largest program in the area, which means that we're probably going to have a week earlier on this. So start reading immediately. And start like right now, go ahead and start reading and get the 720 minutes done. Like get them all done, because we're probably going to do it the week before this. It'll probably be July 4th or the week of July 3rd. So that week will be when we want these turned in. So please start reading immediately so we can get as many teams out there as possible. I love, it's my favorite part of the program is seeing the kids and actually the volunteers' faces when they come through that center field wall, and just kind of the awe of walking through into an actual baseball park. With that being said, I want to make sure that this year, when you do come through the first center field area, I'm going to be going live on some kind of social media. So let's make sure that nobody comes over and asks me questions as some. Hold on a second. Am I still being heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Okay. So let's just make sure that, when that situation comes up and everybody's walking through center field, I'm going to be going live. So nobody come over and ask me any questions at that moment, because I lost last year's, live shot with somebody coming over and asking questions and stuff. So, so as I said, individual players who complete the reading program will receive a Giants backpack. Okay. This is for players going into the 8th grade. When we get the season started, you should apply for the Harmon and Sue Burns Scholarship. They select 10 recipients each year, and you get $10,000 scholarship, and a custom jersey, and support special events throughout your high school. The scholarship is available on the Junior Giants app and is due on July 12th. So that one will have a hard stop of July 12th. So anybody going into 8th grade should apply for that. At the end of the season, you will have the opportunity to earn tickets to a Giants game through taking an end of season survey. Tickets are not guaranteed and are subject to availability. Sometimes they have an option of going to a Giants game or getting Giants gear or swag. So that's another option. Also, you may go get into a raffle to win, say, Giants baseball or something like that. Player interviews will happen. Anybody 8 or older, they probably will be interviewed about their experience by one of the ambassadors at the end of the season. There are no tickets associated with player interviews, but this again is part of the entire scope of the nonprofit organization, and why it exists is to make sure that that the Junior Giants and the Giants Community Fund is doing the right things for their youth in the area, and any improvements that we can make, we try to make them as soon as possible. Parents can find team and schedule information and use it to communicate with their team. And players can also follow along with the word of the week content like videos, find game fundamentals, and more on the Junior Giants app. So you're going to want to download the Junior Giants app ASAP. And then once you're assigned to a team, your entire team will be part of that Junior Giants social structure, that little communication, and you'll be able to contact them and communicate with them. All of the coaches and team parents really should do their best to go in and put in all of the game schedule in there so that the team itself can RSVP to every single game, and also can communicate with each other. And you could do that with the practices and the games. That way you can get really good attendance, because we do want to be really good about attendance this year. We don't want to wait until week 5, 6. We really want to get attendance as soon as we start, because we want to get people off the roster if they're not showing up, so that we can, as I said, we're a robust league. So we're getting right at that edge of not having any, room anymore. So we want to make sure that we have spots available. So we're going to do attendance as good as possible this year. And we need to use the Junior Giants app for that. Okay. And as you can see here, this is how you'll sign up. You go to you download the Junior Giants app, and then once you click on the sign in and register, it'll take you over to do a MLB account. And then once you do that, everything all syncs up together, and you'll be good to go. So here's the expectations for parents and guardians. This is email is used frequently. So please check your email at least once a day. Make sure you check the email you use to register, and then obviously download the Junior Giants app to communicate directly with your team. Most communication that I do will come from via email, and the emails won't be as long as they were, say, 2 years ago. I think I learned that I need to keep the emails somewhat shorter. And I've been trying my best to not answer everybody's question in the entire world in one email. But it is hard for me, because I do understand that there are questions for brand new people to the program every year, and I need to provide that information. So, we also will probably have, we have last year's first pitch meeting, and we will have this first pitch meeting available to watch back as well. We want you guys to please be consistent. Come to every practice and game so your child can get the most out of the season. Again, if you miss a week here and there for vacation, that's fine. But if you miss half the season, again, I would say six weeks should be your minimum. I think 6 weeks should be the minimum for this program. If you're missing any more than that, you're probably again, the rest of the team is going to feel that, and we don't want the rest of the team to feel that. Where's so and so again. So try to come to every practice and game. Do your best to arrive on time, and let your coach or team parent know in advance if you'll be missing a day. That's really the key there is if the coach says, oh, no, they let me know they'll be here next week, then it's not as much of a downer for the team if they understand that person is in, Lake Tahoe or something like that. That's fine. But just to not show up and then just to show up the next week and think that everything is just normal, it should be kind of understood that we will try to make every single practice if we can. I mean, as far as heat, we'll talk about that coming up in a second. The volunteers, we don't ask for any financial support, but we do need a little bit of time. Okay, we provide practice plans and training. It's all step by step. It's all plug and play. It really from what I gather from I do have a baseball background, but from what I gather from brand new baseball volunteers, brand new coaches, brand new to baseball team parents, this program provides everything that they need. So if you're at all worried about I'm going to be a fish out of water or anything like that, it's not. You're going to have all of the information that's needed when the season comes up, and we're actually going to have a volunteer meeting coming up in 2 weeks on the 5th that will also provide some additional help for you. But at this time right now, and it says here there are roles for everyone, obviously. The back end logistic stuff, the team parent who gets the snack list together, gets the parents together for that type of, the back end stuff, reads the word of the week, stuff like that. And then we do have coaches and assistant coaches that go out on the field and hit grounders and have them throw to first base and, stuff like that. So we do have roles for everyone. And this would be the time to go ahead and go in, not right this second, but after the meeting's over, to go in and the same way that you registered your child to play, go in there and register yourself as a volunteer. There's the two options. There was my child and then myself as a volunteer. Do the myself as volunteer and go through that process and get the background check started, because the longer you take to do that, the more likely it is that we might be in week 2 or 3 by the time it actually passes, and then you won't be out on the field with the team, and then it comes to week 3 and then they don't even know who you are. So let's just try our best to go in there and get as many as we possibly can. My goal for volunteers is always to get 5 volunteers for each team. I coach 5 of those teams. I'm a coach for seniors, the 2 teams for seniors, the 2 teams for semi-comp, as well as a majors team. So I coach 5 teams myself. So if we could get 5 coaches or team parents for every other team, so 55 other teams, it's about 300 people. Okay. So that's not that crazy, because last year we actually had 277 staff. So we can get up there as long as we start to push that. Right now we have 50 and 25. We have 50 people who have passed their background check and 25 who are in the process of doing the background check and haven't finished it yet. So we have 75 people that are prospects. We need 225 more to really make this a really good season. So if your spouse, aunts and uncles, grandparents, anybody we can get to volunteer, it's really, really special, and it's really important for our program to have as many out there as possible. So we would really appreciate it if you could sign up, especially T-ballers. We could have as many volunteers as we want for T-ball. You could have a volunteer for every player on a T-ball team, because they don't go to Oracle Park. So we're not going to overwhelm Oracle Park with the festival for the T-ball team. So everybody can volunteer for that. As far as the rest of the divisions, 5 is the limit. We want to get 5. We do have some teams who actually go over that, but we really, really want to make sure that if we get to a certain point on a team where there's like 7 or 8 volunteers, somebody should step up and go, you know what, I'm going to go over and take on another team. If there's too many volunteers on one team, let's go over and take over another team over here, so that we can make sure that we actually are dispersing our volunteers a little bit better. Okay. Also, I just wanted to mention this. The practice schedule will be accessible. I'm going to send out a link to it after we're done here. Anybody who is background checked now and has already done their background check and is already passed, which is there's 50 of you right now, and you've received your background check that is passed, you can email me after I've sent out the practice schedule, and tell me what day you want. You'll see what's available, and you can tell me what day you want to have your practice and what time. That's only going to go for the first people who sign up for and pass their background check. So as we get closer, I'm going to have to just put them in. I can't take too many requests, but I can at the start, because we are 2 weeks away from 2.5 weeks away from when we start. So that's kind of why we did this so early, is to give people a little bit of a chance to choose what their practice schedule is. And if you're doing multiple teams, you have more of an opportunity to pick your practice schedule, because I want to try to make you not have to come multiple days either. I want you to come one day if possible, and do both of your teams in the same day, unless you want to come multiple days. That's up to you. All right, next are the policies. We may face weather that affects our ability to play outside, which is like smoke or heat or rain. Not likely the rain side. If we need to cancel a practice or game, here's how we will let you know. If there's any temperatures above 105 or the air quality is above 150, we will modify the practice somewhat or cancel the practice. Practices will not be canceled by coaches or team parents. Coaches and team parents may not show up to practice, but they are not to cancel a practice for their team unless they call me and I approve that. We don't want half of the team to show up and the coach isn't there, because that's happened in the past. We've actually had miscommunication from a team where they canceled the practice. They called some of the players and some of them didn't know, they still showed up, or they came from out of town. They didn't check anything and they just came. So we want you to be there at all, like if you possibly can. And if you're not going to be, you're going to have to contact one of us, like an ambassador or myself, to let us know that you're not going to be there, so that we can get a alternative. It might be me that goes out there and coaches your team. Or might have Sebastian, one of our ambassador, coach the team. But we need to have that communication, and we don't want to just have people just automatically not show up. 105 degrees is hot, but we have shade at Madera Park, and we can modify practices with water features as opposed to playing baseball, as long as some families want to get together anyway. Even if it's too hot to play baseball, they get together, and then you guys could just have fun in the shade. And as has been said in some of the chat, I think you could all get together and read actually that day if it's too hot, and go out into the shade and just read all together and get that knocked out that way as well. So that's another way to actually utilize that time. But I will send out an email, a mass email, if practices are canceled for that day. So you will receive an email by 2 o'clock on that day. I'll say 2 o'clock will be the final time. Okay. Let's see here. Next. So going forward, this is the link, but there is no game schedule in the system yet. I mean, it's being processed right now. Again, 60 teams. It's a lot of work, and our staff is Nate has been doing a good job, and we had Renzo help us out with it, and Davis helping us with getting this all together and finalized, as well as the practice schedule. As I said, I'm going to send a link to the practice schedule after we're done with this meeting, and it'll be pretty much blank. But you'll be able to see what it looks like. And those of you who want specifics and are past the background check will be able to request a specific day and time. So we're in our volunteer meeting now. So that's what we are almost finished with currently. Next week, or 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now will be our volunteer/coaches clinic. That is Friday, June 5th, and that will be split up between it'll be June 5th at C-Bar-C Park, and the 6 to 6:45 is going to be our T-ball and our minors divisions. Actually, I take that back, because now that I think about it, we're really, really high on the minors division. 6 to 6:45 will be minors division. 7 to 7:45 will be everybody else. 6 to 6:45 minors. 7 to 7:45 everybody else. Now, this doesn't mean that if you show up to one or the other that we're going to kick you out. They're both the same clinics, so it's pretty much identical. I just want to make sure that we just kind of focus on. We have almost 300 kids in the minors division, so I just want to focus on them being on their own. That's as big as some little leagues out there, 300 kids. So we have to make sure that we're not overwhelming, the parking lot there and stuff like that, having 300 people show up at the same time. But basically from 6 to 6:45 will be minors, and from 7 to 7:45 will be everybody else. That's a guide. If you can come to one or not the other, that's fine. Just make sure that obviously we try to keep it with that as the projection. Next is the season. Season starts again June 8th, but practice will start June 9th. Game starts Saturday, June 13th, and the season ends Saturday, July 1st, with no games on July 4th. The next steps will be to download the Junior Giants app. Once you do that, there'll be a Junior Giant University little thing in there that you want to complete. It just kind of gives you a guideline of what the program is, and you do Parents 101. If you are a volunteer, there's one specifically for them as well. So you could go through the coaches part in there as well. And of course, obviously sign up to be a volunteer, as was stated earlier. It's kind of a huge league, and we have a lot of kids that we want to have a really good experience. So we want to make sure that we have as many hands as possible on deck for that.
Limpia eso. ¿Por qué dejas al niño tirar manzana en el
You
piso?
follow us on social media, facebook.com/GoJuniorGiants,
Todo cochinero no le quiere,
Instagram
nomás
at
quiere estar
GoJuniorGiants,
gritando.
on X at GoJuniorGiants. Sharing photos using the hashtag Junior Giants for a chance to win prizes from the Giants Community Fund. And these are our league accounts. We have the Junior Giants Citrus Heights Facebook page, as well as the Sunrise Recreation District Facebook page as well. We would like this to actually increase as far as our social media presence. We've got a younger ambassador this year.
Sueña, ahorita vamos a
Hopefully
dormir,
that helps us
bañar y dormir.
as how much presence we have on social.
Gary, you're muted.
Okay. And I wanted to go ahead and allow our ambassador team to introduce themselves. Go ahead. Just unmute first. Okay. First we have, go ahead and say something so your screen can populate.
I'm Kristen.
There we go.
I'm actually
So we
Gary's
have
wife.
Nate,
Sorry.
Sebastian, and Kristen. That's our great ambassador team. All three of them. I've had interviews, obviously, and meetings for the season. They're all three excited to get started. And do you guys want to say anything?
You're doing a good job.
Okay. So you're going to see them a lot out on the field. They do a great job of being a resource for us. Just to give you an idea, when you go to Madera Park, you'll see where we're located. As soon as you get there, you'll be able to see our canopy and where everybody's is at for any questions that you might have. So that's one of the things that we try to do, is be a resource for everybody and not have too many issues when it comes to practices and games and logistics. There will also be, in addition to the link to the game schedule, which will be on Team Sideline, there will also be a game day schedule that will be on poster board that will be displayed at where the ambassadors are located, the information booth on Saturdays. So that'll also be available if you don't know where the game is and whatnot. It'll have the game time, it'll have where it's located, the field name, as well as who you're playing against, and also what jersey they're going to be using. That's the other thing that I didn't talk about. There's a home and away, obviously, side of our jerseys. There's orange and black. So one side will be home, the other side will be away. Orange will be home, black will be away. And it'll obviously show that also on the schedule. But basically that'll be what'll determine, you know, when you're playing against your other team, that'll have that determination between the two teams, distinguishing. Okay, so the goal recap was to learn the basics of the Junior Giants program, understand what was needed, and to learn where to find information. So I will now open it up to, I know that there's been some questions that have been answered in the chat, but if anybody wanted to raise their hand to ask any questions specifically, I'll have our ambassador team go ahead and unmute whoever it is that has a question.
Gary, one question that we noticed in the chat was, can you explain the difference between being coach versus team parent? So those are the two volunteer positions that we're looking for. He did
Did I
say
do that good of a
we
job on
already have 50.
that no one has? That would
But
be
we need
amazing.
a lot more than that. We are a huge league and 50 is not enough. So get your friends, get your families, whoever you have that's participating in the Junior Giants, and tell them.
Good job. Now I'm able to look at the
Somehow.
chat. Good job in the chat by answering all those questions. So that obviously took care of a lot of the stuff that we would have at the end. So that's good. All right. So let me just look at a couple of these. Yeah, all the questions are being.
Hey, Gary, can you hear us?
Anybody raise their hand? Click on something to raise their hand, and then it'll be able to be unmuted. I see Bill.
I don't know if anybody heard me.
Okay, so Pedro, go ahead and unmute. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Pedro, you're unmuted.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay. So Pedro, us ambassadors can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, yeah, Gary is for some reason not able to hear, it seems.
Huh. No, well, I just wanted to say this is my second year doing this, but so the Giants app is working for me, and last year I was able to find out you'll have a team chat where all your parents can, go on and communicate, and it was really convenient because I went in there and I added all our games, what color jersey we were going to be, and what time the game was. So I told the parents, like, hey, if you forget, go onto the team chat in the app. I listed all the games, all the color jerseys, and what times our games were, and it was super helpful. So just to help any other coaches that are going to be out there.
One note on the Junior Giants app, guys, is it is not live yet until we roster all the players onto teams.
Okay, Pedro, thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Pedro. Sorry, I didn't have it for some reason. It switched what my my audio source was, so I wasn't hearing anything. So okay, next.
So Gary, you didn't hear me earlier. I did ask if you could just kind of give a brief overview of like what coach versus team parent responsibilities are. Because someone asked on the chat, what's the difference between the two? And I stressed that we really do need a lot more volunteers. So if you could just kind of give a quick overview.
Yeah, so coaches are primarily the ones that go out on the field and play catch, like I said, hit the ball around the infield, outfield, do infield, outfield. Encouragement, obviously, getting them hyped up a little bit to get in there and have increase their confidence and things like that. Basically, the team parents handle most of the logistics, all the stuff having to do with the reading program, the word of the week, passing out the incentives, that type of stuff. And that's kind of like the separator. Now, somebody could do both. I generally can do both sometimes on my team if I have a shortage of team parents on my team. But for the kids to get the full experience, it's good to have somebody who handles that part, and like I said, the snack and all that kind of stuff for the parents and stuff like that. So that's really one of the main things. Okay, so I'll answer a couple of these questions. Let's see here. So the question about minors, that would be for the first pitch. I mean, not the first pitch, but the volunteer meeting. Is it the 6 to 6:45? The practices for minors, there's going to be a 5 o'clock practice, a 6 o'clock practice, and probably a 7 o'clock practice for the minors almost every day, because we have 20 teams of minors. So there's probably going to be an available practice for every time and every day for minors. Bill, the question about parent pitch, it's basically it's adult pitch, it's coach pitch. However, for semi-comp and seniors, we do have a pitching machine to pitch to them. Let's see here. Yeah, good answer there about the Oracle Park. I'll answer that question again. When the festival happens, all of the volunteers who are qualified for that with that team will go in with the team. All of the parents who are just there to take their kid down to Oracle Park to chaperone them, they will actually go into the outfield stands, the left field bleachers, and that's where they're taken until their child is done with the 90 minutes or so festival. So they'll be sitting in the stands. They can take pictures and they can see their kid, participating out there. But if you really want to get out on the field with them and play catch with them you can bring your glove too. If you're a volunteer, if you're a coach or a team parent, you can bring your glove and play catch with your kid out on the field at Oracle Park, which is a pretty cool experience. So I really, really stress that if you have any desire, really, you'll want to be a volunteer. As far as the teams, to answer that question, I am in the process right now of putting together the teams. It is a pretty robust process because some of you guys, as you know, might have some requests on there where you're wanting to play with this player, and then I look at that person's, and then they want to play with this person, and then I look at that person's, and they want to play with these other two people, and I look at that person. So it's a big, domino effect with the amount of, things that we have to do. So we have to make sure that, all those requests are taken into account. Not all requests are obviously taken, because we might have 15 kids on a team already, and there's 3 more kids that want to play for that team, and all those kids want to play with each other. When we get up to 20 kids, it gets to be not fun either. So we want to make sure we don't overwhelm the rosters as well. Let's see here. Scorekeeper is not a option, so don't choose scorekeeper. Coach or volunteer. Volunteer would be the team parent. Coach would be for coach or assistant coach. So choose either coach or volunteer. Scorekeeper is not something that we do. Let's see.
Hey, Gary, just want to chime in on a couple questions that I see here in chat, and hopefully you can help just rattle through them. One parent, it looks like, asked about team sideline. Obviously, I know that's where the majority of the game schedule will be, but is there any other place that they would have access to that schedule, or is it just going to be team sideline for them?
Team sideline, and then on game day, obviously that poster board that we'll have up, that'll have all the games there.
And again, the coach or team parent does have the ability to put it in the Junior Giants app once that is live.
Yeah, that'll be a good communication tool for all of the coaches and team parents, is to load all of the games and the practices into the Junior Giants app, and then it's that will be there for the remainder of the season.
Awesome, thank you. And then it looks like just about every other one got taken care of here. I see one team parent will help with the snack rotation, but it looks like weekly word. Yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of helping out, obviously, our returners. So again, any other questions, go ahead and get some hands up and fire them off.
Yeah, so the background check process, to answer that, you completed the Basically you go in, you do the volunteer, just like you registered your child, and then you receive an email from Anchored, which is ANKORED. And that's where you will finalize your background check. You'll go through the process that has been sent to you. And then once it passes, you'll be able to be rostered onto one of the teams as a coach or team parent.
Yardstick.
It's Anchored now. Yeah, it was Yardstick last year, and Anchored purchased Yardstick, so now it's Anchored. So as I've said in the past, anybody who's coached in this league, like Pedro and other individuals who maybe last year was their first year, start to understand how like really plug and play this is. How not, I'm not gonna say easy. I can't say easy because mentoring children is not easy, but I'll say that it's fulfilling at the end, and it actually you get more out of it than the kid does sometimes. I do. I definitely do. So it's important to me to coach myself as a commissioner in this league, as many teams as I possibly can, so that I can keep the pulse of the program, and understand what changes need to be made as soon as they need to be made. But everybody who has volunteered for our program in the past has always given me majorly positive feedback as far as what they experienced. So they really enjoyed themselves. Question, 100% to the
But Gary, we want to stress too to everyone that if you've never had any coaching experience, you still can coach. We really just need people out there that can, keep things organized and keep the kids going and keep them motivated. That's the biggest, goal that we have. We've had plenty of parents that have not had any experience whatsoever, and they shine just because they have a passion for helping the kids.
Yeah, you don't have to have any baseball experience, as long as you care to see kids laugh and smile and have a good time out there. That's the main focus that we have out there. This isn't about trying to get somebody a scholarship to play baseball somewhere in a college. This is actually to get somebody either to start to love the game for the first time, or to get to love it again for the second time. Maybe they loved it early on and they had a bad experience. Maybe it was too stressful for them early in their lives. We've had so many people who have come off of our league, which some of the surrounding little leagues kind of think of us as kind of a league. They come out of our league and they go and become all-stars in these little leagues in our surrounding areas. And they're actually some of the better teams on those teams. And I am so proud of that, because we're not sending out players who don't know what they're doing. We are actually sending out players who are confident and ready to go. And if they want to play in our league again next year, then great, we'll do it again next year. But if they want to move on and play in a little league next year, then graduate to that. That's fine as well. But we really want just volunteers out there who want to just inspire the kids to work their best. To answer Trishana's question, all you need to do if you've did your background check and volunteered as one thing, all you need to do is contact either me or one of the ambassadors and let us know that you want to do that instead, and we'll change it to you becoming a coach. Or if you're as a volunteer or team parent now, we could change you, or a coach now and you want to be a team parent. Either way, we could always change that in our system. I just need to kind of be made aware of that.
Yes, for anybody that wants to make any of those kind of changes, please email us at citrusheights@jrgiants.org. Let's try to take as much of that off of Gary's plate as we can. He's got a lot to do, and I'm more than willing to help him take care of some of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Nate. Yes, if you cannot make the June 5th volunteer meeting, you definitely can volunteer. It's just basically giving you extra, information. But yeah, you could definitely volunteer either way. And those that come to it will get some of the information, and you could always reach out to one of our ambassadors for any kind of questions you have. So yeah, that's it. The time commitment for a coach or an assistant coach is about an hour on during the week for if you're coaching one team, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, and then about an hour and 15 minutes on game day. That's it. Just over an hour, 2 hours a week. And if you're helping to coach one team. I'll give you guys another, say, 5 minutes. Any more questions? I know Nate wants to get home. And speaking of the Special Olympics division, it's a new division this year. So if you have a child who you believe that would be a better environment for them, we have probably 14 kids on those teams right now, 7 and 7. We're keeping it low. We're keeping it small. They're going to have practice from 7 to 8 or 6 to 7 on Friday, and then again from 7 to 8. So that's how that structure is going to be for the Special Olympics division. So that's also an option for those of you who in the past we didn't have that option. You can always either sign up for that division or ask to be changed over to that division. Also, one final thing that I'm seeing also a question sometimes is if your child is a little bit ahead, I guess you would say, for their age group, we don't have any problem. We don't check birth certificates. So we don't have a problem moving up a level. And same goes for if they are behind a year or two, we don't have a problem going down a level. So they're not stuck in whatever division they're in. If it makes more sense for them to play in a higher level or a lower level, don't hesitate to reach out and we'll get that handled. Also, if your child is a beast on the field and just amazing and they're in majors, again, they want to play on their majors team, but also have them come to the semi-comp if they really want a little bit more of a challenge. And then seniors and seniors division also and higher, if your child can play the game, I wouldn't mind them playing for the semi-comp as well. The Special Olympics, so it would be the 12th will be their first practice and game that Friday. For Special Olympics will have their first practice and their first game on that Friday.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. And again, just want to, really commend obviously everyone here. Gary just does, one of one job, and really appreciate all the time that he puts in. And obviously our ambassadors who take just so much, role and emphasis the entire time. Obviously Nate, Kristen, and Sebastian, obviously super excited for him. Happy to have him on board and, just really looking forward to this season. So again, thank you guys and, really appreciate the time. So.
Yes. So any final questions before we end it? Yes, no. So if there's no further questions, then again, I want to see just an influx of volunteers tonight. I want to see tonight and tomorrow. I want to see like 100 volunteers because we do see that. We do see that after the meetings. They want to see what this is all about. And I want to see just, a huge amount of people on there. And then
if you're still unsure, come to the clinics a couple weeks from now.
Yeah. And then see you out all at the clinic if you can get there in 2 weeks. And yes, you will be assigned to your child's team, guaranteed. If you're a volunteer, we will not separate you from your child's team. You will always be assigned with your child's team. That's correct. All right. Well, thank you guys all. And if you have any further questions, just send an email. Yes, this recording will be posted. And no, the background checks have to be through us. Anything outside of the Junior Giants program, you do need to do another background check through us, through the Junior Giants. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for attending the meeting, and we'll see. Hopefully, we see a lot of you guys in 2 weeks at C-Bar-C Park, and then the following Tuesday we get everything started. So
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you guys for attending.